Hey, 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 God bless. Welcome to the Christian Creative, brought to you by Honor Studios. I am D.R. Solo Perry, the minister and the art director of Honor Studios Entertainment. God bless. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, welcome. We're going to do something a little different today. I'm going to be drawing from my drafting table. Actually, I'm working on some thank you sketches for my small but faithful patrons over on Patreon. And if you'd like to help support the ministry and the mission of Honor Studios Entertainment, please consider supporting us at honor3k.com. That'll take you right to our Patreon. But if you want to know more about us, go to honorstudios.com, our website. And so, but before I get started, I wanted to kind of talk about something that happened on yesterday. If you just indulge me for a second. Again, if I ignore comments briefly, if you leave a comment, please forgive me. And as I get to my drafting table, I'm probably not going to be able to see the comments as well. I'll be checking on my phone periodically on the various platforms that we're streaming on. But bear with me, a little grace is warranted until I get a more efficient setup for when I'm over there as opposed to sitting right here. But anyway, yesterday I went live for the first time since right before the new year, and I shared something that I thought hopefully would bless some people, right? And kind of share, be transparent with where I am in my Christian journey, even though I'm an elder in the church and I'm clergy. I'm ever growing and seeking to self-check and make sure that I'm not doing anything that's going to bring a reproach to the gospel or hamper the opportunity to assist in winning souls for Christ and for the kingdom. And so, like many of us, it's a process. I'm a work in progress, despite having walked with the Lord the majority of my life. But yesterday, in an attempt to share and hopefully leave myself open to some input and some feedback from you guys, something peculiar happened on Twitch in particular. And I'm admittedly not as versed in Twitch still. When I stream, I'm omnicasting to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube because my time is limited between familial responsibilities and running a very small business, but having students and a team to oversee and interviews and meetings. And don't sweat, don't look down on the small business, y'all. Trust me, it's real. Okay, people look at the big CEOs, and I'm starting to question whether or not some of those salaries are indeed excessive, just considering what I'm attempting to manage on a small level. But anyway, because of that, I omnicast, and so one of the platforms obviously is Twitch, and the community, the Christian community that I have been adopted into there has been so encouraging, and it speaks life to me in so many ways. I try not to get caught up in numbers, but I know whenever you're doing the social media thing, it's hard not to look at the numbers. It really is. I'm getting better at it, but early on, you really want to know if you're tracking with people, and you want some type of feedback. You need that dopamine hit to let you know that you're landing with what you are presenting to the world. I didn't have to worry about this 20, 30 years ago. Again, the gray should say enough. I remember a time before social media, and this is a different type of stressor, to say the least. I have a new appreciation for regular streamers and social media personalities that do it on the regular. It's definitely a muscle that I'm hoping to develop. But anyway, on Twitch, something strange happened. Okay, now I'm familiar with on YouTube, I run the risk, and I know this. I run the risk because of the nature of this platform in particular. I have other YouTube channels, and so I'm more acquainted and familiar with YouTube and even Facebook to a large degree, and Instagram and TikTok. Twitch is an odd bird for me. Okay, it's an odd bird for me. But again, the fellowship that I've garnered here, especially in the Christian space, has been very fulfilling, to say the least. And so one of the things that I endeavor to do when I stream is not just to draw and provide fluff, but it's my chance to kind of work out my salvation, right, and my theology, and to share and hopefully to minister, something that I've done now officially in official capacity for 20 years, but always looking to bring more value than just surface level things. There's people out here that are drawing, and playing video games and all the other stuff, and that's great. I consume it, when my time allows. But for me, I really had to seek the Lord as to where He would have me as it pertains to Honor Studios, how He would have me present on social media, and that includes ministering, okay, and sharing testimony and sharing stories and sharing the Word of God, and that in and of itself is nothing new. I'm doing this a YouTube video right now. I'm creating notes on it on my issues with Christian YouTube, right? Trying to as I tried to study and find my place in this. Well, anyway, yesterday I went live, first time since before the new year. Shared some things and started sketching. Didn't have a whole lot of direction, but just wanted to kind of get loose after a day of dry work. And I wanted to share a testimony, a story of something that just recently happened to me with one of my students for my online school. And to view it, unfortunately, you cannot see it on Twitch, which I thought was bizarre. Now, if you're watching from Twitch, please educate me if this is all in my head or if this is a real thing, because I'm not one to believe largely in specific coincidences, right? And when I say specific coincidences, when there's so many targeted factors, specific factors, I'm a little bit of a skeptic to buy into it just being a coincidence. But anyway, as I started talking and sharing, because I was looking not just to share what had happened to me, but also to get feedback to see who out there has been presented with this type of situation, Christian creative, what have you, that could help inform me, right? Because I do have an accountability network that is very thorough, and though they had given me their feedback and gave me good marks, I want to see what you all had to say. And I like to glean things by approach. And so anyway, I presented it, but what happened was there was one person that was watching with me, that was watching as I was streaming. I don't know who's in here now, but again, I record this as if nobody's here. There was one person that was watching with me. Pitch Black, I believe her handle was. And soon as I got into my monologue, she started saying, I'd spoken a few words, and she started typing in the comments, "I can't hear you. I can't hear you." I'm like, "You can't hear me? My meter's registering. Why can't you hear me?" And I'm looking at my audio meter here on the screen, and it's peaking like it's supposed to. The mic's miking, and and eventually I think she's gone. So anyway, I go right into my monologue and what the Lord had given me, and sharing that experience with a specific student. Again, you can watch it on YouTube. I'm actually editing it right now because I do these segments. I do them in segments where I draw and then I talk. So I'll get more juice for the squeeze, in this effort with my time being limited. But if you go to the 36-minute mark on YouTube or even on Facebook, if you go right to the 36-minute mark, you'll see me go into this story. And I'm hesitant to do it again because I don't know what's going to happen here. But here's what happened yesterday. What happened yesterday, as soon as she said she couldn't hear me, I'm talking, I'm not registering that I have a problem on my end, even though my computer's been having problems lately. Because it's old. I go ahead and tell the story, give the scriptures, the scripture. I try not to throw too many scriptures at people because of overwhelm, and I'm not trying to press people with my theological lexicon. I think it can come off a little pretentious. I kind of give scripture in bite-sized doses. So anyway, I get off. And I see that Twitch is still processing my video. Now, everything else is posted. And I go to Twitch and it's still processing my video. Okay, nothing strange there. It takes about an hour. And I come back and I see the video's posted, but it's cut off right at the 36-minute mark. as soon as I start talking about the situation. Now, I understand that the algorithms are programmed to target specific words and phrases. Okay. No hate speech, right? Nothing of a sexually inappropriate context, things of that nature. But what I delivered, to me, what came from my heart, I hoped, was something of love and sensitivity to someone of a community that is a hot topic, right? Especially in the church spaces. That is a student of mine, and how I handled that with this particular student, and how I tend to handle it in my school, because my school is a secular entity, right? I'm a Christian. My school is not a Christ-themed entity, right? It is a service to help teach people who want to learn visual storytelling and the comic craft from available and competent and qualified professionals in a live setting, okay, in a live virtual setting, like what I'm doing right now. And so when I went back and I saw that it had cut off right at the 36-minute mark and nothing thereafter, I felt some kind of way about it. And so I'm asking you people, if anybody's out there watching this on replay or on demand or whatever, please leave a comment, DM me, let me know if this is, am I imagining this? Am I looking too deeply into it? Because one of the things that I don't want to do is I don't like to feel, after 30 years in law enforcement, I don't want to feel handcuffed. As ironic as that may seem, right? I'm used to putting people in handcuffs. I do not want to be handcuffed, especially in my communication, because even though I am in large part, very acquainted and adept and comfortable in conflict and discourse after such a lengthy career in law enforcement in Chicago, I seek peace. I'm a man of war who seeks peace, right? In interaction and conversations, I try to find a way where we can communicate where it's effective, right? And we're actually exchanging information, even if we disagree, even if we're not on the same page or walking the same path. Okay, I believe that's effective. I believe that is appropriate. I do believe that is Christ-like. Okay, now I'm not arrived, and I would hazard to ever claim to ever have achieved the standard that I know the word requires of us, but I'm trying to live it intentionally. I try to live it with a fair amount of intentionality. And so when I deal with a sensitive topic, I'm really trying to approach it as I believe Christ would approach it. Okay. Not fearing any smoke, not fearing being demonetized, none of those things. But it matters to me that the message is delivered and hopefully helps someone else that is confronted with a similar situation. And if the Twitch algorithm is not going to allow for that, I'm going to need some guidance on how to proceed, because one of the things that I will not do is I will not be ashamed of the gospel of Christ. That I won't do. I said in the stream, again, you can watch the full thing. If you're on Twitch, I would highly suggest that you consider following me on YouTube at HonorStudios, at HonorStudios. If you go to youtube.com at HonorStudios, you'll find me, or type in the Christian Creative, right? But it feels like censorship, unjustified censorship, and I'm not anti-censorship. And listen, I don't think everything needs to be put out there, but it feels like unjustified censorship. And I know the words that I used were accurate, the phrasing, the terminology, but I kind of feel that it may have triggered the algorithm to hack off my video at that point. And you can see it. It's on demand on Twitch. You can see it, but you can see the full video, how I said and how I presented on YouTube. And that's actually a segment that I'm going to edit and just make it a long form commentary. So anyway, I'm trying here. One of the things that when you're starting off with something, and I still see myself at the very front end of this, when you're starting off with a new endeavor, especially one that you're not comfortable in. I'm not comfortable on social media. I'm not comfortable in a lot of spaces, to be quite honest. I've been diagnosed as, it's no longer called Asperger's, but neural divergency or something else, right? But anyway, I'm not comfortable in a lot of spaces. So certain situations require effort from me. People think that because, hopefully you all can't hear my dog. Hold on, let me mute while I yell. Okay, sorry about that. Had to have my daughter close the door because that dog is barking because someone's at the door. But when something already requires a significant push on your part, resistance feels magnified. It feels amplified, right? And until I develop the necessary muscles, I'm trying not to bail on Twitch altogether, because there is a level of reality that I do have to reconcile, right? And that is, I know that fully, because of Honor Studios and because of the mission that I believe the Lord has given me regarding this entity, right? This entertainment endeavor, that it could be detrimental to my school. Okay, I said this yesterday as well. When I went to my brain trust and my accountability circle and told them what I was planning on doing, because I had not started the social media endeavors on Honor Studios, I'd already started seeding Kapow, right? Because Kapow is meant to be income, right? To allow me to fund Honor Studios if crowdfunding is not viable, right? I always like to have, a ram in the bush, so to speak. But I'm depending upon the Lord the whole way. But the way my brain works is, if crowdfunding and Patreon don't bring in the necessary resources for Honor Studios must continue in some capacity. What can I do? That's how I launched it when I first launched Honor Studios. I didn't have a team of any kind, at that time. Don't have a real team now. But at the time, the team that came, the Lord sent that team. Again, the testimonies are going to be forthcoming on our YouTube channel. You won't be able to watch them on Twitch. You will be able to watch the testimonies of Honor Studios on YouTube. They've already been recorded. I've just been dragging my feet editing them. But anyway, Honor Studios is the point. Everyone who knows me knows that this Honor Studios Entertainment is the point. It's the legacy that I desire to leave behind. Could Kapow be part of that legacy? Yes. My online art school could be, but that was not the intent of it, right? Hey, Brother Kev, good to see you, man. I miss you, man. We got to talk. Kapow is not meant to be that. It's actually meant to be a feeder, right? In a stream of income to help support Honor Studios at whatever I'm allowed to do with whatever it generates, right? And so on that note, all roads lead to Honor Studios for me. And so because of my neurodivergency, because of my tendencies, when these little resistances pop up, they probably carry more weight than they should. It bothered me that Twitch cut off the video at that point. That bothered me. Okay. And I'd like to believe it was a glitch, but as soon as I said certain words, I think it just assumed that I was about to proceed with some form of hate speech, because there's the Christian keywords and stuff are all in the description. But that is not where my heart is. It's not where my heart is. I believe that we can call out sin. We can call out wrong. We can stand 10 toes down on the word of God and not be, as the old folks used to say, jelly-backed in our position, right? But we don't have to be contentious. You're right. It doesn't have to be venomous. It doesn't have to be uber aggressive. It just has to be deliberate and steadfast. And if you agree with that, let me know, comment. That's my approach, because make no mistake, my boy K Merv, he's of the same ilk. I don't fear smoke. Okay, that's not it. The approach that I'm taking is intentional. I'm trying to move like Christ. I don't know if you guys have been in the Christian space the past couple of months. There's been this huge wave of support behind a biblical scholar, Wes Huff. Okay, and I'm not going to be doing reaction videos here if I can avoid them. I just don't. I don't want HonorStudios online presence to be about that. But I do consume a lot of it. But Wes Huff is a biblical scholar who was invited. If you're unfamiliar, check it out. Trust me, you can find it anywhere. But Wes Huff is a biblical scholar from Canada, and he was brought on a podcast to have a discussion. It wasn't even a real debate. To have a discussion with a New Age guru and Christian detractor, Billy Carson. Okay. And Billy has made the rounds from Joe Rogan to Patrick Bet-David, all the big platforms. His platform is huge. He's got several books, but all about New Ageism. Christ wasn't crucified. Christianity's a farce. All the whole things. He admits to some church hurt without going into details, but he's made it his mission. We're talking the true spirit of Antichrist in this guy. And so Wes Huff, if you watch it, I think it's 2 hours long. Everyone's talking about how he dismantled him. The fact that he dismantled Billy Carson, because Billy Carson has never done a debate. He's always avoided debates, even though he says he was willing to debate, but he has never done debates. And so he felt like he was bamboozled into this one, or at least he thought that he could handle whoever was going to be sitting virtually across from him. Well, Wes Huff handled that situation, that interaction, with such grace, such humility, such gentility. Okay. I was flabbergasted because I saw where I am lacking. Okay. Many people in my circle consider me a pretty effective communicator. It served me well in law enforcement. It served me in the pulpit, and it served me in prison ministry and in nursing home ministry. But when I tell you I had to take my hat off and to see what I am not, that brother handled him, as God is my witness, how I really believe Christ would have done it. Okay. He did not seek to embarrass him. He just called out facts. He didn't make it appear to be gotcha moments, right? For clips and sound takes, outtakes. He just gave him the truth. And what you see at work, if you watch it, or if you haven't watched it, if you watched it, let me know in the comments and tell me what you think about it. But this was like 2 months ago. 2 or 3 months ago. But if you watched it, I've watched it several times. This is 2 hours long. I've watched it because I was trying to learn. That's how my brain works. I am a true autodidact. I am a student. When someone does something well, I don't care if it's cooking. I don't care if it's pickleball. I don't care if it's tiddlywinks. Okay, when someone does something masterfully, it gets my attention. All right. And the way he handled that interaction was so masterful. in a way because I've been consuming so much Christian YouTube. That I didn't think there were people like him out there, right? All I saw was conflict and contention and the desire to be right, not to present right, right? K. Murph says, yeah, he said it was kind but brutal. I get the sentiment. I don't think that it was brutal, Kev. I think it was surgical, right? Because there was no intent to harm, right? He literally just picked him apart surgically, right? And the reason I say that, Kev, is not to be variant. So forgive me if it comes off that way. I'm not being contrarian. It reminds me of like when I'm doing critiques at Comic-Cons or when students are applying at Kapow. I tell them my analogy is I don't believe in brutal honesty. I believe in surgical honesty. They're similar in that they both cut, they both hurt, and the person on the receiving end is going to bleed. But one is meant to do harm and the other one is meant to promote healing and health. And so I don't do brutal honesty. So you're like, oh, you're brutal. I'm like, no, because if you check my heart, I'm trying to actually help you and give you information so that you can move forward in a healthy way, and yeah, thank you. Surgical. It was surgical, right? It was surgical because his heart was in the right place. And I had to even leave a comment in the video. I had to leave a comment just telling him how it affected me, right? It wasn't, we know truth. If you've been walked with the Lord any length of time and have studied the scriptures, you know that detractors and false prophets and all that comes with the territory. I've been confronted many times when out in ministry. But I've never handled it as well as he did. I'm being completely honest. And I'm like, oh, Lord, give me that. It was almost like an Elisha moment. I don't even know this dude. I'm like, Lord, I want that. I want to be able to communicate like that. I want to be able to defend the faith like that. Right. And I got a way to go. So when I did this video yesterday, that I believe, again, you got to watch it on YouTube at the 36-minute mark. I'm going to be posting the edited version of that segment because that's how I typically stream. I'm not doing that today, but here on HonorStudios, I try to record a segment that can be cut down, that's specifically long form content in addition to the live stream. And so they cut all of that on Twitch. They cut the entire thing. And Kev, I would love for you to check it out. The 36-minute mark on YouTube on my last live stream from yesterday. And I presented the situation. I'm being careful in my words because I don't want Twitch to cut me off again like it did yesterday. Again, there was one person yesterday, and all of a sudden I started talking. She's like, I can't hear you. I'm losing you. And my meters are going. I'm like, I'm looking at my meters. They're peaking in the yellow. I got good sound. I'll give you the YouTube channel. It's the most recent live stream. /@ Okay, yeah, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to it, but at the 36-minute mark, I'll even put that in the text. But anyway, the situation, I believe if there were a human element involved, they would not. If Twitch did indeed edit and censor yesterday's live stream, I think that they would have let it go because they saw there was no vitriol. God bless, brother. Love you, man. Thank you so much. Let's connect soon. Let me know when you have time to chat. I think they would have let it go, to be quite honest. I really do. My heart would have been hurt if it was a person, as opposed to being triggered just by keywords, by trigger words. So yeah, that was yesterday. Well, I'm about to get to drawing. I'm going to be looking at Twitch to see if this whole video gets through. But what I'm working on today is a couple of sketches for my patrons. Right now, there's 3 that have been very faithful in supporting Honor Studios, even when I have not been faithful and I've kind of been in the shadows. But every cent that comes to Honor Studios goes to build Honor Studios. All right, know that. Every dime. Okay, I keep my streams separate. That's why I need Kapow thriving, so it can become a stream to Honor Studios, just in case people don't show up for the Patreon or the crowdfunding, that the projects that we have can see the light of day, until the Lord brings the increase. I'm one of those people, I don't like the uncertainty that comes along with people, hence the name Solo. Again, me and people, I'm growing in that department. Okay, I'm growing in that department. But grace, mercy, have some for your brother. But today I'm going to be working on some sketches that I'm cranking out just for my patrons. Again, it's a small number, just to tell them thanks. I don't have it on here yet, but I kind of tweaked the Big H logo. And they're going to be getting some stickers with the revised Honor Studios logo, as well as their sketches. I'll be sending those out. But I want to thank you. If you guys are watching this, Delando, shout out to you. Delando Bradford, thank you so much for your financial support. Flat Cap Dapper Pastor, who's here on Twitch, who I met on Twitch, he supports financially. And we're not talking about huge dollar amounts, just faithful. And sometimes I let them stack so I can do things like get a booth at a show, right? It's not an exorbitant money that's coming in. We have big needs. As I'm talking to you right now, I need a new computer. This one is literally like, is doing one of these. I'm with you, Solo. Just let me go over here and eat some of this grass. I'll be okay. Don't put me out to pasture. This is what this computer is doing right now. Okay. And so even with my military veterans discount, I got to save up some cash. And if you want to help contribute to it, you can give a one-time donation at honor3k.com. I believe you can just give something one time, but every cent there goes to, they helped me buy a new series of Bibles to study from and some study materials to help supplement many of the IPs that we have here. They've helped buy stickers and t-shirts. I actually sent them t-shirts a few months ago as a thank you for branding. Everything they do is help. Everything you do when you give at honor3k.com goes towards Honor Studios every time. And I'm grateful for it. Right now it's not a lot, but I am grateful for what it is because it encourages me. My old pastor used to say, God doesn't count, he weighs. I don't know how truthful that is biblically, but I like the sentiment of it. Okay, so I'm actually about to go over here and switch to my drafting table, and we're going to sketch a little bit, and I'm going to let some music play. If you have a comment, I'll try to check on my phone. Right now I have the Twitch mod thing on my phone, but if I miss a comment, I'm going to try to have the volume up to a point where I can hear the boop, right? And I'll get up and I'll come over here and comment if I can. And we're just going to relax and listen to some music and get my artistic day started. Okay, let's do this. So we have our big 3. We have Crossfire, we have Regent, and we have Eben X. And so these are going to be going out to our current patrons. Yes, right now there's only 3 that are paying. There's a free tier as well. Let me bring my mic over here, make sure you guys can hear me. There you go. Yeah, there's a free tier as well, but these treats go to those that are helping us financially with their pledges. But I post free content as well, okay, and updates if you want. I think that's too loud. There we go. Make sure that my audio levels are good. Okay. All right. So yeah, there's free tiers as well if you're interested in supporting the mission to help bring faith-inspired action, adventure, and fantasy entertainment to the masses. If you have any questions while I'm drawing, please feel free, because I tend to get caught up. All right. And there might be some education in this as well. The teacher in me, I tend to talk out loud. All right, I tend to talk out loud. So if you have any questions on my process or the materials that I'm using, feel free to let me know. But usually I'll go anime and I'll announce Pigram Micron 05. So, you know, I kind of stole the concept of a big 3 from DC Comics. Not ashamed to admit that. I like the idea of having some anchor characters with which to kind of build the superhero universe to kind of anchor the reader to, right? But unlike DC Comics, unlike them, our guys aren't ridiculously overpowered. Well, at least most of them aren't. Darn dog is getting on my nerves. I do a lot of pen swapping and tool swapping when I'm feeling really when I really want to push myself. I'll use a tool that I'm not as confident in, and I'll try to get the level of detail and precision that I desire, like a brush. Like, I'll do stupid stuff like just I'll just keep going, right? I'll just keep going, knowing that the tool, knowing that the tool may not be ideal for that particular stroke or what have you, but I'll keep going just to challenge myself, to elevate my control. And I really hope they appreciate these, because contrary to popular belief, those people think that because they don't know you that you are not, you don't have a credible resume. get paid pretty well for these typically. I have just enough resume and art street cred to kind of justify a decent commission rate. But they've given so consistently. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what I want to do for them. And what I'm grateful about with my patrons, if you decide to join, please, I encourage you, don't, and this is not a sidebar to like try not to fulfill on perks and rewards, because I have no problem with that. But many of them, they're committed to the mission of Honor Studios, and they have asked literally nothing in return. They literally just want to help it come to life, and that to me is like, who could ask for more than that, right? I'm gonna try to get at least one or two of these done here live. My eldest granddaughter just got home. I forgot she had a half day today. We were expecting a blizzard here. We're supposed to be getting a lot of snow here in the Chicago area. So because of that, they only, in anticipation for that, her school only did a half day today. Kind of nestled in. Normally I would be at my office on Wednesdays, but this is we're gonna do a snow day today. I'm gonna try not to do too much work today and really take a snow day. I might play Marvel Rivals. Might treat myself because I downloaded it and I have not played it. My son is already one of the top ranked people on the planet on the game, literally, and that's not an exaggeration. He's here on Twitch. He's on the road right now. Mr. Melee TV here on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, it's my youngest boy. I told you you're going to see a lot of tool hopping. It's about what allows me to complete a section quicker. Now I might use this brush because it has such a fine tip. I might use this for fine details occasionally, and it really helps me. It really is not because I need to or because I'm lazy. It helps me with my motor control. Hey, Ed, how was your day today? I am recording. You saw the light? Yes, because I always want to see you, because you're my baby.
Yes, and I also made some art.
Oh, you made some art? Let me see what you got. You can show it on stream. Let me see. This is my potential heir apparent to Honor Studios. Okay, so a smiley face. That's it.
No, you turned it around.
Oh, okay. Now who is this?
This is like an emotion. Like every character,
Oh, you had to do emotions? Okay. In art class?
No, I did it by myself.
Oh, you by yourself, practicing emotions. I like that. She and I are going to be starting. I know this is an Honor Studio stream, but I have Kapow School on YouTube, but also have Kapow Kids Zone, and she's going to be drawing side by side with me on Kapow Kids Zone. We're looking at this camera right here, baby. At Kapow Kids Zone, where we're going to teach kids the art and comic craft by drawing the cool stuff. Fundamentals of art by drawing the cool stuff. I actually started Kapow Kids Zone during COVID. It was my first live streaming experience because all my nieces and nephews these are good expressions, baby. All my nieces and nephews were shut in with their fans. My wife was like, "Babe, why don't you do a live stream with your nieces and nephews and give your brothers and sisters a break?" I said, "What a great idea!" And so we started, and it started catching on. Started having kids from different areas in the country. Their parents would give consent for them to come and join me live. So we're starting that again. My wife is actually creating the filming set back there for Kapow Kids Zone. So since he has his cars are darkness, we're gonna have to use really wash strokes, just leave enough negative space. I got that. Yes, this is real life people. I have to keep these things relatively simple for me, where they can't feel like they're so sacred, because everything can be edited, right? But they can't feel so sacred and sacrosanct that it can't feel laborious to me. Oh, so I got some new gel pens. My order of my gel pens came in. Again, I do commissions. Stop. The commissions are also going to help me pay for my new computer, as well as some bills around here. So I got some new gel pens, and let's see, what is this? Now I use Sticker Mule. I won't give my address. Sticker Mule is one of the suppliers I use because they have frequent deals. So if you're like an artist that wants to have some swag and stuff on your table at conventions or some free giveaways, I've been using Sticker Mule for years. I also use them to kind of prototype my t-shirt designs when they have a sale. Again, they're one of the few sites, they have frequent sales. And because they have frequent sales, it allows me to get, kind of chip away. And then by the time convention season comes, I have a nice assortment of swag that didn't kill me financially. And also because they always put their old normal stuff in here. So yeah, it's like this. So stickers, they had a sale, 50 for $19, right? 50 for $19. And I usually take the sample one because I'm cheap, and I remove their. So now I got 51. So I got 51. Yep. And granted, it's a limited size, but it allows me to go ahead and again, kind of build my stock and my supply for when convention season rolls around. And usually, by the time the convention season rolls around, I'm well supplied at that point. There's a friend of mine who does this negative space with these brushes so incredible. His name is Rev.And, incredible artist, huge follower on Instagram, brother in the Lord, loves the Lord. He's really good with these negative spaces with these brushes. Now I could just as easily just kind of fill it all in with black and then come back with a white gel pen and mark it in. But again, I kind of use these warm-up sessions as a chance to practice. You know, waste not, want not, right? And I don't want it to read like hair, so it's got to be a real big mass of black, right? I'll take my crown now. These voices in my head, I'm telling you to bow down. You don't got control, no, so bow down. I don't give you control, no. I'm actually going to use sponges to kind of add a kind of like smoky effect to it. And that'll probably help me clear up these lines again so it doesn't read like hair. So I'm treating it like hair, but in the final result, I don't want it to read like hair. I want it to read like darkness, like a wispy smoke. Off the paper. Got kind of like a chimney head. Just to avoid any confusion, I'm going to disseminate these out to them. You don't get to choose which one they want. It's just a free gift. And, show my gratitude. I might keep a log of who got what and make sure that when all is said and done, everybody has, as long as my Patreon is small, I can do things like this and make sure everybody gets treated. I think if the Lord blesses it to grow, and you guys support, that it might start being like monthly random patrons, but try to make sure everybody gets something at a certain tier. Depending on the tier that they support at. That's no light. There's probably things up around these pots. The thing about inking is you have to be confident in your strokes. You have to be very confident in your strokes. You can't do chicken scratch or it's going to lay out like chicken scratch. And sometimes I switch just because I'm trying to stay stimulated. It's not because of any other reason like, oh, you know, some guys will take that same tool and keep going. This kind of is a engagement tactic for me. The way I bounce around the image, and I kind of let my eyes dance. It keeps my eyes refreshed and doesn't allow me to hyper focus on any one area, which I see a lot of the young artists do. I'm teaching like I'm on Kapow. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if anybody's here. mean, these are sketches. These aren't supposed to be like refined, finished pieces. There we go. I find the 0.3 micron is like the perfect weight. Oftentimes, I'll use the 0.05 if I really want to get some like really fine detail in there. But you can do so much with this alone.
I remember the day that I came to you and asked for my dreams, and you told me yes and said don't complain.
Yes, I got my packages. Thank you.
Come with it.
Thank you.
I prayed for success, this comes with it. Now I'm chasing my dreams, but what does that mean if I am not happy? Thought this what I wanted, but it don't appeal to my satisfactions. It don't appeal to my satisfactions. But if I keep on going and I keep on moving, I know things will change. If I persevere and I keep pursuing things, they gotta change. Happiness can wait. Gotta build up my name. Gotta build up my name. Where am I going? From here I don't know. I need direction. Show me where to go.
This is also great practice for me because I just recently just took a assignment, some sketch cards for some comics. Again, raising funds.
I'm coming back home to your heart.
New computer.
I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home to your heart. I'm coming back home where I started. There you are, and here I am.
This one's starting to lose some of its juice. It's
Right
okay.
where I belong.
Dry brushes are still good brushes.
Every time that I fall, the way that you love me.
Because you can get some really cool effects with them.
Lord, I'm sincerely yours.
See how that, just give me a nice texture right there. And I ain't gotta work it too much. Bring it down like this. There we go. Make this a little bit smaller so I can make sure I can use this stuff again for smaller videos. Stuff is kind of big in these pots. There we go. My face is too big. Boom. Oh, these are a little bigger. There we go. Cool. I hope I'm still streaming. Maybe it wasn't Twitch. Because I look like I'm frozen on Twitch. Let's see. Maybe it was a coincidence. Or maybe it was just me doing too much. There we go. wasn't a coincidence, because now it's working. So now maybe I need to go ahead and switch back to a micron, because this one is giving me a wobbly line because it is drawing out. And this is how warming up really looks, you all. It can be a little pensive because I'm trying to, just like we warm up for sports, we warm up in art. You know, some of your best favorite artists, we do, if I'm one of your favorite, but whether or not, it's a common practice for us to do warm sketches. Because it's very much equally a physical skill as it is mental. So kind of warming up like you would in basketball, which is, you know, my go-to sport, or football or baseball. You get in the dugout, you know, you do some pitches or take some swings, you know, just getting your body in tune. That's really what sketching is. Like we don't just come out the box and just start laying down lines. And if these turn out well, I might go ahead and stream one on PAL, because I have to do some things for Black History Month. These shadows rely, these little highlights, these are not happenstance. I'm trying to consider the contour of the skull and high and low points where light would hit and shadows would form. All right. That's why anatomy is so important. Hey, Mother Goose, how are you, sister? How be thee? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to one of my favorite people. How's the family? Oh, thank you. These are for my patrons on my Patreon. You know, I only have 3, but this is now for me to start. They've been so faithful, and I want to give them something as we start to move aggressively forward with the new year. I want to kind of show them some gratitude. So it's our 3 pillar characters of the HonorStudios superhero line. Fancy, I know, right? Got all branded cards, right? Yes, it's a brush. It's a brush pen. This is a brush pen. Yep. Get nice little wispy lines and very brushy strokes. All the good stuff. I do a lot, as I was saying earlier before you got here, I do a lot of tool hopping, depending on what allows me to get the line or the contour that I really want. Yes, these are postcard size, and I put them in sleeves. So I actually have sleeves. Where are my sleeves at? They're around here somewhere, but I put them in sleeves, like hard plastic sleeves like this. These are for my 8.5 by 5.5, my bigger ones. They go inside the hard top loaders, like this. And then I'll pack them up in my branded. I try to make everything nice. I know you can appreciate that because you do everything nice and fancy. I pack them up in. I have some branded envelopes and mailers. Today I'm using my, do I sound good? I'm using my Yeti mic that's over on my drafting table. Can you hear me? Is it tapping? Let me make sure I'm on the right mic. Wrong mic. I think I had the wrong mic. Or did I lose a mic? Yep, wrong mic. That's what I get for experimenting with a new setup today. This is why I need people in here to help me out. Somebody was in here, but he didn't tell me I was in the wrong place. He didn't tell me I was in the wrong place. That's discouraging because I've been talking a lot. That is discouraging. But at least my monologue came through. If you watch this, I'll give you the breakdown. But yesterday, Mother Goose, I had went live for the first time since after the holidays, and why is this mic not reading? It usually says Yeti 1, Yeti 2. So yeah, I'd streamed. Thank you so much. Again, I need the feedback. You know me, I'm fragile here on Twitch. Because I'm always recording in the background so I can use it for voiceovers and for reels and shorts on other platforms. But I'm glad you're here. Yesterday, I did a stream that I think Twitch edited me. Yes. Oh, you'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Where is the cam? Where is the mic? That sucks. Standing by. Yep, I'm standing by. Where is the other microphone? Okay, we back. I thought I got rid of those ads. Is Twitch going to run? I thought that I got rid of I thought I disabled the ads, to be quite honest. I thought I disabled them. Everything is black. Ah! Can you see me now? Okay. Okay. I thought I disabled those ads because they weren't serving me. They weren't doing me any good here on Twitch. So nope. I'm looking at my feed and it looks like I'm coming through okay. You can't see me, but I'm seeing myself on my phone. There I am. Okay. All right. So don't scare me like that, Mother Goose, because my computer's been acting crazy. I was saying I'm putting out a call to arms as I try to raise funds to get a new computer. So every little mishap terrifies me. But yesterday, Mother Goose, I streamed, and if you can see it on Twitch, the video on demand from yesterday, it cuts off at the 36-minute mark, and I think Twitch censored me. The full video's on my YouTube channel, because you know, oh no, this is actually my old iPhone continuity camera. It's clear, isn't it? I got a new camera for my desk, which shoots in 4K, but this is my iPhone. This is my old iPhone. It's not even my new one. I keep all my old iPhones. I refuse to give them back because I know they're just ripping us off. So anyway, Mother Goose, I'm not going to bore you with all the details. I'm just excited to have you here. I'll probably finish the drawing off stream. But yesterday I did a stream, and I think I triggered the algorithm on Twitch because there was one person watching me. And, I omnicast. So when I'm streaming here, I'm also on Facebook and I'm also on YouTube. And so because I was rusty and my computer's acting crazy, I was a little self-conscious. And so I think the person here on Twitch was Pitch Black. I think that was her handle. And so what I do now, Mother Goose, I don't know if you've been here for a while, but I'll have a word or something that the Lord has given me, and I'll draw for a little bit, and then I'll monologue for a little bit, right? You should probably move your audio back a few. Your audio's presenting before. Okay, yeah, send me instructions, please. So anyway, or it just might be my computer, to be quite honest. I already reached out to the streaming developers of the platform that I use, Ecamm, and they told me my computer can't handle what I'm asking it to do. So that might be part of it, but send me instructions, please. And so anyway, I shared a situation that just happened to me recently with my school, where a student of mine wanted to meet with me, knowing my spiritual stance, and I'm trying not to trigger it so it doesn't cut me off again. All right. Because I really do believe Twitch cut me off. They told me they were converting. Right. They told me they were converting to the opposite of what they were born as. And hopefully this doesn't trigger it. But they came to me. They want to meet with me. The student wanted to meet with me. Yes, I think it happened to me. Okay. I think because one of the things since you've been here from day one, that I'm committed to finding out what the Lord had me do. And I want to give unadulterated truth in the gospel in love. And so the story, again, you can watch it on YouTube. Yes, you can watch it on YouTube at the 36-minute mark. So what I do now is I'll draw off a little bit on a timer, and then I'll have scenes already set up where I talk at the camera so I can use it for long form of content to get multiple use off of one live stream. And so soon as I started talking about what happened, the person on Twitch, the one person that was on Twitch, started saying, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't hear me? And my mic was fine, right? It's peaking now. I'm on the right mic. I wasn't even over there. I was over here. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't hear me? And eventually she cut off. And so I kept talking, and I stayed on for like another 45 minutes. Ended the stream. I come back. For some reason, Twitch is still processing. So I'm like, okay, that should, So I come back a half an hour later. It's still processing. So I come back an hour later, and it's finally up. And when I go on Twitch to look at the video, see how it streamed on Twitch, it cuts off at the 36-minute mark right when I start talking about that situation. And everything else after is gone. I don't believe in coincidence. Okay. And I think that maybe my words triggered the algorithm for potential hate speech. But there was no hate in what I presented. Actually, it was a story of grace. And I wanted to leave it up to I wanted to get some consensus back from the audience, whether or not they believe that I handled this as a minister of the gospel of Christ should have. It was sincere. And Twitch, if you look on the Twitch stream from yesterday, 36 minutes cut off. You go on YouTube at 36 minutes is when I go into the story. Yeah. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just don't believe in coincidences with that level of specificity. You know what I mean? I mean, that was like, I have a precision. I am a practitioner of precision. And when I edit, boop, when I tell you right at 36 minutes, go to YouTube, start at 36 minutes, and you'll see what I'm talking about, what I actually had to say. So and I kind of bounced it off some other people, and they're like, no, man, that kind of sounds like an algorithm censor. I say, yeah. And you know I'm not that versed on Twitch, so I'm not quick to like cast aspersions. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, let's try this. Okay. You send over directions. Whispers. Okay. Click the con. Oh, this is for OBS, I'm assuming, right? Let me turn this off. Because again, I may be asking my computer to do too much. Because I use Ecamm. Yeah, I use Ecamm because I have a Mac. Let me check the preferences here to see if there's something similar here on Ecamm. Thank you for that. Ecamm preferences, audio, boom, system, use echo cancellation. Let me see. How do I sound now? Because I did something yesterday. I enabled echo cancellation. Do you see hear any difference now? That's the only thing I did differently. I've been streaming on this regularly from my other channels. Mic delay. See, there's a mic delay. Delay microphone audio by this many frames. Oh, I see. Mic just kicked in. That's why. As soon as I did that, the other mic kicked in. Now I'm back. The other mic behind me kicked in as soon as I clicked the checkbox. This is weird. Oh my gosh. How's it presenting now since doing that checkbox? I do see a mic delay. It's closer. Okay, let me see. How about now? I just bumped it up to 1, which is 1,000 milliseconds. How about now? Yes, no, maybe so. More? Okay, I'm giving you more, sister. 2 milliseconds. Mic delay. How am I presenting now? Thank you for this. Thank you so much. Ministry of Helps. 3 millisecond audio delay. 5. Let's try 5. Let's try 5. All right, we're at 5-minute mic delay. What's it giving you? Is it giving you anything? Am I presenting okay with 5 millisecond mic delay? We troubleshooting, y'all. My sister helping me troubleshoot. Delay microphone audio by this many frames. See if it's actually doing anything. Oh, let's try 10. This is a 10 millisecond audio delay. 10 milliseconds. Closer. Okay. 15 millisecond audio delay. How are we looking? 10, 15. Next will be 20. Closer. All right, let's try 20. You were there. Let's try 20. 20 milliseconds. We're at 20 milliseconds. How are we doing? Go back to 16 or stay at 20? Yes. 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 Thank you. Today I learned. Stay. So yeah, I want your feedback more. Do you think that's weird? Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. Bravo, nothing. Thank you. This is why I need my people. I mentioned that earlier before you got here about how much of a blessing this community has been to me. But because I'm so fragile, because I'm so used to this, I'm so new to this, it doesn't take a lot for me to kind of abandon it, you know. And I don't want to abandon Twitch, but I'm like, if I can't talk about serious things in love without fear of being edited, that's problematic to me. I'm okay with not being monetized on YouTube. You think he messed with testimony from being shown? Yeah, probably. So let's try it. So you don't have to go to YouTube. So basically what happened was the student wanted to meet with me. They kept asking. And this was me. I already went to my accountability group to get their assessment on how I handled it, because I don't want to feel wishy. I don't want to come off as wishy-washy, right? And uncommitted, because I'm very committed to the faith. I will not be ashamed of the gospel of Christ. Thank you so much. And so when the student came, when I finally met with the student, I thought the student was potentially going to withdraw from the school, which I'm used to it. I just kind of dread it, right? But when he met with me, he told me that he was leaving his old life behind and was already in process of alteration, right? And wanted to meet with me because he was changing his identifier on our private social media platform, and he knew my position, because what I do when they, you know, with our school, you have to have an interview with us. You have to go through a 2 interview process. We just added a stage because interest in our school is starting to tick up, and I have to be a little bit more judicious with my time, as well as I don't want to waste time with people that aren't really serious with the in-person with the virtual interview. And so anyway, by the time they get to me for the final interview, most students want to know what I'm working on, what I'm doing personally. They really want to know what I'm doing, because part of the school's key selling points is you're learning from industry professionals that are currently active in the industry, not guys that haven't done anything in 20 or 30 years. And so they always want to know, as the director, what am I working on? And so that gives me an opportunity to present Honor Studios, what it is, who I am, what I stand for, my position in the faith, my title in the faith. They get all of that with their interview. Because in our community, in the art community, you're probably aware of this, it's not Christian friendly, right? It's actually majority antichrist to a large degree. And so with that being said, I want them to know coming in, you're coming to a school that's headed by a guy like me, that loves the Lord, that's unapologetic about his faith. My studio is centered around my faith, even though it's not a Christian studio. It's a Christ-centered studio, entertainment studio. And so they all know when they come in. And I've had other students of the alternative community. It's nothing new, because my school is a secular entity, right? They hire me for a service, my instructors for a service. We provide said service without discrimination, right? And we teach them and treat them with another one. One of my instructors is a Christian too. The other one is former LDS, right? And so, but we teach them professionally, sincerely, and passionately with everything we have. And so anyway, with that being said, the student wanted to meet with me, knowing that because he's a first-year student in our 3-year program. He had the interview with me, and even when we do like school assemblies, virtual assemblies, you know how it is, Mother Goose. When you live this life, the life of an intentional Christian, it comes out in everything you do, right? Passive conversation. You're not even trying to give Christian vernacular. It's just in you. You're not trying to quote scripture, but if it's appropriate, it just has a tendency just to kind of slip out, right? What's in you comes out. And so they've been exposed. My students are always exposed to all of that at any given time. And I'm not oppressive with it. They're very receptive. And I've had, again, many oozing Jesus, right? And so, again, several of my students are of the alternative community, and they adore me, right? But they also know what I stand for. I'm not affirming. I tell them that I will not do that. I can't do that. I don't play the pronoun game. Will not do that. One previous student, actually wrote me a beautiful letter as she exited, but she converted, and I actually used to minister with her father, and her father took exception to her name change, right? To her name change, to a masculine name change. And so he and I kind of had a little bumping of heads because he thought I was in solidarity when in the conversation. And he said, yeah, because I gave birth to her name, and and I know you're not playing that game either, so I'm glad you still call her that name. And I said, well, actually, I don't. I said, because she legally changed her name, and that's a matter of legality. And so though you gave her a name at birth, she legally changed her name. That is her legal name, her government name. And so I do acknowledge that. But what I don't do is the pronoun game, because that compromises my position and my walk and my belief system, right? And he kind of was taken back. But that's my conversation that I had with this particular student. And so he told me that he was changing his name, but not legally. And I told him we were at an impasse. I said, I'm sorry. I said, that's an impasse for me. I said, I can't. If you changed it legally, then yeah, no problem. I said, and I don't want to offend you, okay, but I won't compromise my beliefs for your sensitivity. I can't do that, right? And he understood. He was very nervous about coming to me because he didn't know how he'd be received. But I received him in love, unaffirming, right? I told him I do believe everything that the Bible calls a sin is a sin, however it is identified, however it's practiced. I said it will not change how I treat you. Okay, so just know that. It won't change how I treat you, it won't change how I serve you in this capacity. I said if it changes anything, it changes the depth of our intimacy, right? How close I can get to you. That's what it will change. I said, but I will never disrespect you. I said I will never do anything to harm you. And if I say something that you may perceive as a slight, come to me with it. I said, because that's not my intention, right? That's not my intention. I said, I don't operate that way. And so this was part of the stream from yesterday, right? Again, the whole thing is on YouTube at the 36-minute mark, if you're interested. And so what I had posed to the audience was, I'd like your feedback, because many people aren't presented with it. I've been presented with it. Well, I've never been presented with a coming out situation, right? They usually come in the door that way, if that makes sense. Okay. And so, but he felt so relieved, and he thanked me, which blessed me. He thanked me. He told me his experience in past with Christians at the parades, and the level of vitriol and condemnation that he's historically met with. And he's never been met with this level of receptivity and gentility. And I told him, well, I'm learning. I said, you're not the first. I said, you're the first to come to me this way. I said, and quite honestly, it was the worst kept secret. I kind of ID'd that when you interviewed, so yeah, this was what was hacked off yesterday. So I want your feedback. If anybody's watching this, this rerun of my events from yesterday, I welcome feedback. I welcome, I didn't bombard him. I told him, he hit me with the judgment offense, right? Judge. And I said, we can't do that either. We can't do that, man. I'm sorry. I said, we can't do that because judge means to determine based on established facts, agreed upon laws, right, and truths. We hold everything, we make judgments against those things. I said, so we're making judgments all the time. I said, that word has been weaponized against, particularly against people of the faith like myself, to disarm us in a situation. I said, but I have every right to make a determination based upon what's agreed upon and what is true, right? Just like you do about me, right? And so we do that all day, every day. We make determinations which are called judgment calls, right? I said, but what I don't do is have a hell to put you in. I said, but I will abide by what the word of God says, because that's how I live my life. I said, but I will show you the love of Christ to the best of my ability. And I said, this is where it starts. This is what it should look like. I said, I accept you, but I can't affirm anything. I said, I can't do that. And so, yeah. Oh, Messy Grace. I think I heard of it. I have so many books. I have heard of it. I didn't get it. I think it's in my cart. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out. I think it's appropriate for my secular institution, to be quite honest. But I've never had that problem. Here's, most people that don't know this, I have a sibling. We share our father who has been living the other side for over 30 years. Okay, that refuses to talk to me, but has never had the conversation with me. I've actually shared space with him, not realizing that was him, because, he was my brother, my younger brother. And I was troubled when we left whatever event that was. Sometimes it was a basketball game with my nephew or my niece's graduation. Because we're not close. We have the same father, but we weren't raised together. But he was there, and I felt so bad that I did not interact with him. And I fear that they may have seen it as a slight, because he won't have a conversation with me because he knows my faith walk. And he came out over 30 years ago and never had the conversation. He was still a teenager and never had the conversation with me. Just assumed that I would be resistant. And of course I will be resistant to a point, but that I wouldn't be loving, right? I wouldn't be loving. And so here's the thing that saddens me. Here's the thing and I'm sure it grieves the Lord. I'm not going to be on here much longer. So many of our perceptions as Christians, we have earned those as a body, not as individuals, but as a monolith. A lot of the perceptions and misconceptions and applications, they are not unwarranted. There is a very, I'm telling on myself here, but it's funny. It's funny, especially if you were raised in the church like me, or came to Christ early and has walked with him for an extended period of time, like my wife. But there's a show on HBO Max that's a comedy about a megachurch family. I'll just leave that there. And it is funny. It's funny, but it's funny in probably the worst way if you're a Christian. It's because if you're honest with it, and I try to be objective about everything. A lot of the stereotypes and the jokes that they crack, there is precedent for them, and not isolated precedent. We're talking a library, a lexicon of precedent, where the church has just misrepresented Christ in so many profound ways. But I still believe in it, as I know Christ intended it, us to be as a body. there's a lack of balance in the church. And when I say balance, I'm talking sober-mindedness and proper application of scripture, which is one of the reasons, oh, Mother Goose, I am applying for seminary, FYI. I decided to go ahead and take that leap. So I just met with my VA representative, and the VA will be paying for it since I'm a disabled veteran. But I'm going to give a shot at seminary, not because there's anything that I feel that I'm missing per se. It is more curiosity and to see what gaps can be covered in my hermeneutics and my eschatology and my theology. What don't I know? What am I not aware of biblically and theologically? Yes, that is the biggest representation. Yes, that we are those things. Yeah. The true, and this is why I'm doing a video on YouTube. I may record it here so you guys can see it, because I know people are on their islands between Twitch. You still got people that are just on Facebook and people that are just on YouTube. So I might actually record it here and just have the comments off. But I'm doing a video on my breakdown of the different identifiers in the church, right? The different, and classifying them appropriately. Like, I'm not quick to call someone a Christian, because definitively it means endeavoring to be like Christ or likened unto Christ. And I'm going to go into deeper depth in the video, but I'm not quick to call people brothers and sisters. Those all warrant fruit inspection, which typically takes time. Or at the very least, a resonance with the Holy Spirit, where I see how you move and how you present, and the Holy Spirit in me recognizes the Holy Spirit in you. But barring that, I'm not quick to use the generic term Christian. We have Christians, which I believe to me is the goal, the highest ranking for me, right? Is those that are sincerely trying to be like Christ. You have believers, which Timothy kind of spells out for us. And then you got churchgoers, right? And so, and then you got, obviously, religious people, spiritual people. And so I'm going to do a breakdown of those moving forward. Yes, I believe in correct identification. Okay, and it's not from a self-righteous stance. It's for clarity and specificity. As someone as broken and in need of a savior as me, adopted into this miracle thing called salvation through grace. Somebody like me that strives constantly, and I've strived daily I wrestle with my anger. I wrestle with my errant thoughts. I wrestle with a lustful eye. There are things I don't wrestle with, like lying and stealing and adultery. I don't wrestle with those things. But I have my own struggles. I don't wrestle with that, but and I'm so aware of those. And I know God's delivering power, but at the same time, like Paul says, I do those things that I would not do, I do, and those things that I do not, right? I strive daily, as the word tells us, for the faith. It's work, it's effort. And as somebody who's intentionally trying to put in that work, I take umbrage with people that toss that around casually for political reasons, adopting people into the fold because, they want an election, right? Or they're part of a political movement, or because they're a celebrity and they sing good and they happen, or they just won a title or a Super Bowl or NBA championship, and they say, the cliche, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean that he knows them, right? I'm slow with that. I'm slow with that. And it's not from a self-righteous standpoint. It's a matter of vigilance. It's a matter of being cautious, of bringing wolves into the fold, right? If you agree with that, if you guys can dig that, let me know in the comments. These are my musings, but I'm going to do some deeper dives at a later date. I have a list of topics that I'm going to be talking about as this year we really dig into what the Lord has given us and presenting the identity that I believe the Lord has given me for Honor Studios Entertainment. So hopefully you guys join me. And if you like what you've heard, you want to support, please. Giving swag like this. Everything goes towards Honor Studios. See, my audio isn't attached to the scene. It muted. So there you go. Yeah, consider supporting Honor Studios Entertainment at honor3k.com. Every cent goes towards Honor Studios. Yes. Thank you. I saw it was muted. Yeah, every cent goes towards Honor Studios, establishing it in the marketplace. We reach a certain point, we'll be able to release our properties to the world. I'll be able to hire the necessary teams to make it a reality. Able to upgrade the equipment so it can handle the animations and stuff that I'm currently working on. I think that's probably the reason it's dying. But check us out. Consider supporting. These are going out next week to our trinity of Patreon supporters. Our trinity of Patreon supporters that have been very faithful in their support of Honor Studios at various levels. And I'm not even concerned. Thank you. I'm not even concerned if you decide to give a one-time gift. I will shout you out here. But right now, as we get ready to close out, I want to thank Jerry Stanford. I want to thank Delando Bradford, as well as our very own Flat Cap Dapper Pastor here on Twitch for their continued support of Honor Studios. And these will be going out to them promptly, along with the new logo design, as you can see right here. As you can see the new logo, the edit. I'll bring it up. I added magenta to kind of symbolize CMYK, the four colors from which every color comes from. So in printing and in production. So yeah, outside of that, I love you guys with the love of Christ. Thank you so much for your help, Mother Goose. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to have you in my Twitch life. I cannot wait to meet you. I'm partnering with some shows in Indianapolis. I don't know how far you are from there. But I have several entities, one in South Bend, a show in Indianapolis that have partnered with my school. And so I'm going to be all over Indiana this year. And hopefully I get to meet you and your lovely husband and your beautiful family. And yes, I'll send over the dates. I'm going to be streaming at least 2 or 3 times a week now. I just had to we had a death in the family starting the new year. My sister got sick, terrifyingly sick. It was triggering. It was symptoms very akin to what my mother had. And so I'm just now getting back into the groove after dealing with the loss of my uncle. My sister's now on the mend, and all the other things. I just had to retreat for a little bit. And so we good. Uncle's gone on to be with the Lord. My sister's on the mend. And we move forward now. We move forward. So God bless you and your family. I love you with the love of Christ. And with that being said, I will see you on the rebound. I love you. God bless. Solo out.